Welcome to this video on cell transport. We will explore how substances move across the cell membrane, specifically focusing on diffusion, osmosis, and active transport. Cell transport is essential. Cells need to take in substances like oxygen and nutrients, and they must also remove waste products like excess water and carbon dioxide. One of the most important part of the cell essential for movement of materials is the cell membrane. The cell membrane acts as a barrier, controlling what enters and leaves the cell. This important feature is called being selectively permeable. Because the cell membrane is a barrier, cells need special transport processes to move necessary materials in and out, often utilizing protein channels. The three main types of transport we will discuss are diffusion, osmosis, and active transport. We will now look at each one in detail. Diffusion is the movement of particles from a region of high concentration to a region of low concentration until they are spread out evenly. Diffusion is a passive process, meaning it does not require the cell to expend any energy. The movement happens naturally down the concentration gradient. An everyday example of diffusion is how the scent of perfume spreads throughout a room from a single point where it was sprayed. In the human body, diffusion is key for gas exchange. Oxygen enters the cells, and carbon dioxide waste leaves the cells. Several factors affect the rate of diffusion. First, a larger concentration difference speeds up the rate of diffusion. Secondly, increasing the temperature provides more energy to the particles, causing them to move faster and increasing the diffusion rate. Thirdly, a larger surface area allows more particles to cross, leading to a higher rate of diffusion. Now let's dive into osmosis. Osmosis is a special type of diffusion. It involves the movement of water molecules across a semi-permeable membrane. Specifically, osmosis is the movement of water from a region of high water potential, or more water, to a region of low water potential, which means less water. We can also describe this as the movement of water from a dilute solution, which has more water, to a concentrated solution, which has less water. The selectively permeable membrane only allows water molecules to pass through, while larger molecules cannot cross. This is essential for osmosis. An example of osmosis in action is how plant cells absorb water. This process is crucial for the plant's survival and structure. Osmosis can cause cells to change shape. They may swell, like the normal turgid cell, or shrink, depending on the direction of water movement. Let's apply our understanding of osmosis to red blood cells. The size and shape of a red blood cell are significantly influenced by osmosis. In a dilute solution, water enters the red blood cell. As a result, the cell swells and may even burst due to the increased internal pressure. Conversely, when a red blood cell is placed in a concentrated solution, water leaves the cell. This causes the cell to shrink and become crinkled. A common laboratory experiment to illustrate osmosis uses potato strips placed in different solutions, demonstrating how water moves across cell membranes. In this experiment, a potato strip is submerged in a concentrated salt solution and another is placed in pure water to observe the osmotic effects. In the concentrated salt solution, the potato loses water and mass, becoming soft. This is because water moves out of the potato cells. In pure water, the potato cells take in water, causing the strip to gain mass and become firm. This clearly shows the impact of osmosis. Active transport is the movement of substances in the opposite direction compared to diffusion. Active transport moves particles from a region of low concentration to a region of high concentration, working against the concentration gradient. Unlike passive transport, this process is active because it requires the cell to use energy, which is typically obtained from cellular respiration. An example of active transport occurs in root hair cells, where they actively absorb mineral ions from the surrounding soil. Mineral ion concentration is often lower in the soil than inside the root hair cell. Therefore, active transport is necessary to move these ions into the cell. The root hair cell respires to release energy. This energy is then used to move mineral ions into the cell, a process vital for plant growth. In active transport, mineral ions move from the soil, where they are at a lower concentration, into the root hair cell, where the concentration is higher, using specialized proteins. Let's now compare all three transport processes, diffusion, osmosis, and active transport, to highlight their differences and similarities. In terms of direction, diffusion moves particles from high to low concentration. Osmosis moves water from high to low water concentration. Active transport moves particles from low to high concentration. Regarding energy, diffusion and osmosis are passive processes that require no energy. Active transport is an active process and requires energy. As for the substances involved, diffusion moves any particle. Osmosis is specific to water. Active transport moves ions and molecules. Finally, concerning the membrane, it's not always needed for diffusion, but it is required for both osmosis and active transport. In summary, diffusion, osmosis, and active transport are crucial for substance movement in and out of cells. Diffusion and osmosis are passive, while active transport requires energy to move against the concentration gradient. Thank you for learning with us. Be sure to check out our playlist for more fantastic revision resources, including evaluation questions in every video, and subscribe for updates.